All civilizations dismissed them, until humanity decided to protect them. HFY. The viral were one of those civilizations. They lived on gentle worlds with wide oceans and soft gravity. Their bodies were thin and fragile, adapted for calm environments, not conflict. Their technology grew slowly, focused on biology and harmony rather than weapons. When the galactic age arrived, the viral believed cooperation would protect them. They were wrong. When the Galactic Accord first surveyed the viral systems, the report was short and cold. Low military value, minimal economic output, high vulnerability. The final line sealed their fate. Non-essential civilization, no protection recommended. At first, nothing changed. Trade ships still passed through nearby space. Observers still watched from a distance. But when pirate clans discovered the viral worlds had no defenders, everything shifted. Raids began slowly. A mining outpost vanished. A research station went silent. The viral sent distress calls, carefully following every protocol they had been taught. No one answered. Larger empires discussed the situation in councils and forums. Some argued intervention was unnecessary. Others said it was unfortunate but natural. A few admitted the truth openly. Protecting the viral offered no benefit. Over time, the viral learned a painful lesson. In the wider galaxy, kindness was not a currency. On their homeworld, elders gathered in quiet halls as reports grew worse. Entire coastal cities were being evacuated. Food shipments failed to arrive. Children were born into a future everyone could see was shrinking. They did not curse the galaxy. They did not beg. They simply endured, hoping the storms would pass. That was when humanity appeared. Humans were new to the galactic stage, still unfamiliar to many species. They had arrived loudly with fast ships and curious minds. Some saw them as unpredictable. Others found them amusing. A few powerful empires considered them dangerous but unrefined. When humans joined the Galactic Accord, they were given access to archived data. Thousands of civilization files, neatly organized by value and threat level. A junior human analyst named Daniel Reyes was assigned to review low-priority civilizations as part of orientation. It was dull work, most files repeating the same story. Failed colonies, dead species, warnings written too late. Then he opened the viral file. It showed population decline curves, unprotected trade routes, and recorded pirate activity. The final recommendation advised all members to avoid involvement. Daniel frowned. He reread the projections. They were not dead yet, not even close. He forwarded the file up the chain with a short message. Why is no one helping them? The question reached people who were not used to asking it. Human diplomats discussed the viral in meetings that other species ignored. Strategists examined the cost of intervention and found it manageable. Medical teams reviewed viral biology with interest rather than judgment. When the decision was made, it surprised even some humans. A single exploration and aid vessel was rerouted toward viral space. The ship entered the system without fanfare. No weapons powered up, no demands broadcast, just a calm signal sent on open channels, translated carefully into viral language. This is a human vessel. We are here to help. The viral thought it was a trap. No one came without reason. They scanned the ship again and again, searching for hidden fleets or weapons signatures. There were none, just defensive systems and cargo bays full of unfamiliar equipment. After long hesitation, the viral allowed the ship to land on a remote platform. Human envoys stepped onto the surface with slow movements and open hands. They did not wear armor. They did not raise their voices. They listened. Viral leaders spoke cautiously, expecting conditions, trade rights, territory access, something to justify the risk. The humans asked none of that. They asked where the refugees were. They asked how many were sick. They asked what the pirates had taken. Within days, medical units were deployed. Food synthesizers were installed near evacuation centers. Portable shield generators were activated around population hubs. The viral watched in quiet disbelief. Word spread quickly. Other civilizations noticed human ships moving into a space long abandoned by policy. Messages were sent to human diplomats, warning them of the consequences. "This is inefficient," one message said. "You will gain nothing," another warned. Humanity responded politely, then continued. Pirates tested the new presence within a week. A small raiding group entered the system, expecting the usual easy targets. Instead, they were intercepted by human drones that disabled engines with precise strikes. No ships were destroyed. The pirates were left drifting, alive but helpless until authorities arrived. The message spread faster than fear ever could. Human fleets did not conquer, they protected. The viral began to understand that this was real, not charity meant to fade. Not an experiment. Someone had chosen them. Children who had only known evacuation drills saw human engineers repairing water systems. Elders watched star charts light up with new defensive markers. For the first time in many cycles, the future felt open again. From distant observation posts, other species watched uneasily. The galaxy had dismissed the viral as weak and accepted their slow extinction as natural order. Humanity had looked at the same data and reached a different conclusion. They did not see weakness. They saw lives worth saving. And without knowing it, the galaxy had just witnessed the first quiet warning of what humans truly were. Human presence in viral space did not fade with time. It grew, slowly and carefully, like something planted with intention. More human ships arrived, not war fleets, but support vessels. Construction teams set up orbital platforms designed only for defense. Medical stations were built in low orbit so the injured would not need long surface transport. Human doctors worked alongside viral healers, learning their biology instead of forcing human methods. The viral were not used to being asked for consent. Every decision was explained. Every system installed came with training and shared control. It was protection, not ownership. For the first time in many cycles, viral trade lanes reopened. Small merchant ships dared to travel again, guided by human patrol routes. Crops were replanted in abandoned coastal zones. Children returned to learning halls that had been turned into shelters. Hope returned quietly, but it returned. The galaxy did not like this. In council chambers far from viral space, representatives gathered and spoke with concern that sounded like logic. They argued that humanity was breaking precedent. If every weak civilization was protected, the balance of power would collapse. Resources would be wasted. Conflicts would increase. Some suspected deeper motives. They accused humans of building influence, of preparing future allies, of hiding ambition behind kindness. Human diplomats listened patiently. "We are not claiming their systems," one human representative said calmly. "We are not demanding loyalty, we are preventing extinction." That answer unsettled many. Soon the pressure increased. Trade restrictions were placed on human goods in nearby sectors. Navigation permissions were delayed. Joint research projects were suddenly canceled. None of it was declared punishment, but the message was clear: stop. Human leadership debated internally. Some argued the cost would rise, others warned of escalation. But when reports from viral space showed improving health, stabilizing population numbers, and reduced attacks, the decision remained unchanged. They stayed. Pirate activity reacted differently. Larger groups began gathering beyond the edge of human patrol zones. They tested boundaries with probe ships and false distress calls. Each attempt was answered with restraint but absolute control. Engines disabled, weapons neutralized. No executions, no cruelty. Pirates began avoiding human-marked systems entirely. That alone changed galactic economics, but the real shift came when a powerful regional coalition made a public declaration. They claimed viral space was strategically inefficient and proposed managed relocation of the viral population. The words were polite. The meaning was not. The viral would be moved. Their worlds would be repurposed. Human diplomats rejected the proposal immediately. The coalition responded with warnings about consequences. Military exercises were announced near the region. Fleets gathered just far enough to remain legal. The viral sensed fear again. They remembered how quickly attention turned away before. Elders met in the same halls, but this time humans were present, standing quietly at the edges. Viral leaders asked the question they had avoided. "Will you leave if this becomes dangerous?" The human commander assigned to the system did not answer immediately. He looked around the room, at the damaged walls still under repair, at the young and old sitting together listening. "No," he said, "we won't." When coalition fleets moved closer, human ships repositioned. Defensive formations were clear and deliberate. Weapons were powered but not aimed. Communication channels remained open. Observers across the galaxy tuned in. This was not how wars usually began. The coalition demanded withdrawal. Humanity requested dialogue. the coalition advanced one more step. Human fleets did not fire first. They activated layered defense systems that rendered incoming targeting useless. Coalition probes lost lock. Electronic warfare systems shut down without damage. The message was unmistakable: you will not pass. A single coalition cruiser attempted to break formation and rush a viral orbital station. Human response was immediate and precise. The cruiser's engines went dark. Its weapons powered down. It drifted, intact, surrounded but unharmed. The rest of the fleet stopped. Across the galaxy, silence followed. Humanity had demonstrated strength without destruction, control without domination. It confused every strategic model in use. The coalition withdrew, publicly claiming the exercise was complete. No apology was issued. None was needed. Within viral space, something changed. The viral no longer saw humans as visitors. They saw them as guardians. Not because humans said they were, but because they proved it under pressure. Cultural exchange deepened. Human teachers learned viral philosophy. Viral scientists began collaborating on human projects. Children from both species shared learning spaces, discovering differences without fear. Humanity did not rush development. They encouraged resilience instead of dependence. Defensive systems were designed so viral operators could control them. Training programs focused on decision-making, not obedience. The galaxy watched carefully now. Reports spread that viral creativity flourished once survival was no longer in question. Their biological sciences advanced rapidly. Their understanding of ecological balance surpassed many older civilizations. The same galaxy that once dismissed them began to pay attention. Some felt regret. Others felt unease, because humanity had revealed something dangerous. They did not define success by dominance. They defined it by who survived. And that idea once seen could not be unseen. Far beyond viral space, in quiet systems filled with other forgotten species, archived files were being reopened, not by humans alone, but by those wondering what it would mean if humanity decided to protect them too. The galaxy did not forget what happened in viral space. It remembered, studied, and worried. For generations, power had been measured in fleets, territory, and fear. Humanity had introduced a new variable that did not fit any existing model: protection without conquest, strength without exploitation. Many civilizations found that idea disturbing. In the cycles that followed the coalition's retreat, pressure on humanity became quieter but heavier. Trade lanes were rerouted away from human-controlled regions. Invitations to diplomatic summits stopped arriving. Long-standing alliances grew distant, cautious, unsure. Human leaders noticed, but they did not change course. In viral space, life continued to improve. Cities were rebuilt stronger than before. Shield networks were expanded, now operated mostly by trained viral crews. Human advisors stepped back where possible, allowing local decision-making to grow. The viral were no longer simply surviving. They were learning confidence. That confidence attracted attention. A powerful empire on the galactic fringe, older and far more aggressive than the coalition, began observing the situation closely. Unlike others, they did not send warnings or messages. They gathered intelligence in silence. Their analysts reached a dangerous conclusion. Humanity would fight fiercely to defend the viral, which meant the viral were leverage. The first sign came as a disaster call from a nearby system. A viral research ship, operating under human escort routes, was reported missing. Its last signal showed an engine malfunction and life support failure. Human patrols moved immediately, following the trail. What they found was not wreckage. It was an ambush. Multiple hostile ships emerged from stealth positions surrounding the patrol group. Their weapons powered up instantly, aimed not at the human vessels but at the captured viral ship held between them. A message was broadcast across all channels. "Withdraw from viral space," the Empire demanded, "or their people die." For a brief moment, the galaxy held its breath. This was the test everyone had been waiting for. Human commanders did not respond right away. They rerouted signals, confirmed life signs aboard the viral ship, and quietly adjusted fleet positions throughout the region. Then a human voice answered, calm and steady. "You're threatening civilians," the commander said. "That won't work." The Empire's reply was sharp and confident. "You care too much, that makes you weak." The assumption was simple. Humanity would hesitate. Humanity would negotiate. Humanity would step back. They were wrong. Human fleets across the sector moved into precise formation, cutting off escape routes without firing a single shot. Electronic systems activated, targeting not weapons, but communication relays and navigation arrays. The Empire realized too late that the trap had closed around them instead. A coordinated human operation unfolded with terrifying efficiency. Boarding teams disabled hostile ships using non-lethal force. Control systems were locked down remotely. Within minutes, the Empire's fleet was powerless, drifting in silence. The viral ship was freed without a single casualty. Across the galaxy, observers stared in disbelief. Humanity had refused the choice offered to them. They did not retreat. They did not sacrifice the weak. They removed the threat entirely. The captured Empire ships were not destroyed. Their crews were detained, treated, and returned later with a formal warning delivered to their leaders. "Do not test us with lives," the message read. "We will always choose to protect them." The response shook galactic politics to its core. Some civilizations felt relief, others felt fear, a few felt shame. In viral space, the reaction was deeply emotional. News of the rescue spread through cities and settlements. Families who had waited in silence finally allowed themselves to cry, not from grief, but from release. The viral had believed humanity would help. They had not believed humanity would risk so much. Elders gathered again, but this time the mood was different. No despair. No quiet acceptance of loss. They spoke openly about the future, about rebuilding not just what was lost, but what had never been possible before. Human representatives attended, not as rulers, but as partners. "You don't have to stay forever," one viral leader said carefully. "We know the cost to you." The human ambassador shook her head. "We're not here forever, we're here until you don't need us." That idea spread quickly beyond viral space. Other minor civilizations began sending cautious messages to human channels, not demands, not pleas. Questions: what happens if we are threatened? Will you listen? Humanity did not promise protection to all. They did not rush fleets across the galaxy, but they answered every message. They reviewed every case, and when intervention was chosen, it followed the same pattern. Protect, stabilize, empower, step back. The galaxy's old hierarchy began to crack. Empires that had built their power on fear found their influence weakening. Smaller civilizations formed networks, sharing information and defense strategies inspired by human methods. Even some larger powers began reconsidering their policies, realizing that unchecked cruelty now carried consequences. Humanity had become something new, not conquerors, not saviors, a line that could not be crossed. In viral schools, children studied history differently now. They learned not only about loss, but about the moment the galaxy changed direction, about the day someone decided their lives mattered. They learned human words alongside their own, one phrase repeated often because it was simple and true. "We protect each other." Far away, in council chambers filled with tension, older species debated how to respond to this new reality. Some argued containment, others argued imitation, but none could deny it anymore. The age of ignoring the weak was ending. And it had ended not with a grand conquest, but with a choice humanity made again and again. To stand in front of those who could not stand alone. The galaxy changed slowly at first, then all at once. Years passed in viral space without crisis. That alone was remarkable. Stability, once fragile, became routine. Trade lanes remained open. Defensive systems were maintained by viral crews with quiet confidence. Human advisors reduced their presence, observing rather than directing. The viral were no longer a protected species. They were a rising one. With survival no longer in question, their minds turned fully toward creation. Their understanding of living systems led to breakthroughs in environmental recovery. Dead worlds were restored. Failing ecosystems across multiple star systems were repaired using viral-designed methods that worked with nature instead of against it. Human scientists collaborated, learned, and often stepped back in awe. The galaxy noticed. Civilizations that once dismissed the viral now sought their expertise. Trade offers arrived. Research invitations followed. The same councils that had labeled them non-essential now debated how to include them in long-term planning. The viral remembered who had stood with them before they were valuable. They chose their partners carefully. Humanity did not demand credit. They did not request favors. When asked why they continued to support viral independence instead of formal alliance, human diplomats gave the same answer every time. They deserve to choose their own future. That principle spread faster than any fleet. Across the galaxy, policies began to shift. Forced relocations were questioned. Exploitation treaties were challenged. Smaller civilizations found their voices growing louder, supported by new coalitions built on mutual defense rather than dominance. Not everyone accepted this change. One ancient empire built on control and extraction refused to adapt. They viewed the new order as weakness disguised as morality. To them, humanity's influence was a threat that had to be broken. They planned carefully. Instead of attacking the viral, they struck elsewhere. A distant, fragile civilization, one humanity had not yet protected, was invaded and subjugated quickly. The message was clear. You cannot save everyone. The galaxy waited. Human leadership gathered in silence. They reviewed reports, casualty projections, and political consequences. They knew acting now would mean open conflict with one of the oldest powers in known space. The choice was not easy, but it was familiar. Human fleets mobilized not for conquest but for presence. They entered the occupied system openly, broadcasting on all channels. Supplies were delivered to civilians. Evacuation corridors were established. Defensive lines formed between the Empire's forces and population centers. The Empire demanded withdrawal. Humanity refused. This time, the confrontation did not end quickly. Tension stretched across weeks. Skirmishes occurred at the edges of space, controlled and contained. Humanity avoided escalation, but they did not retreat. The Empire pushed harder. They expected fear. What they encountered instead was resolve. Human logistics outperformed expectations. Human crews rotated with precision. Every loss was answered with adaptation, not anger. Every advance was met with firm resistance that protected civilians first. Other civilizations watched, then chose. Some provided intelligence. Others opened supply routes. A few sent their own ships, standing beside humanity not out of loyalty but belief. The balance shifted. When the Empire finally withdrew, it was not defeated in a grand battle. It was exhausted, isolated, and exposed. Its reputation, once feared, was damaged beyond repair. The occupied civilization was freed. They did not cheer. They wept. The galaxy understood then that humanity's influence was not limited to where their fleets traveled. It lived in the choices others made after watching them stand. In viral space, elders gathered one last time with human representatives. This meeting was different from all before. There was no fear, no urgency, only gratitude. "You changed our fate," a viral elder said. "But more than that, you changed how the galaxy sees us." The human ambassador shook his head gently. "You changed that yourselves. We just made sure you survived long enough to do it." Soon after, humanity formally ended its protective mandate over viral space. Defense agreements remained, but command fully transferred to viral leadership. The moment was symbolic and powerful. They were equals now. Years later, galactic history would mark this era as a turning point. Scholars would debate causes and consequences. Strategists would argue whether humanity's approach was sustainable. But among ordinary people across the stars, the lesson was simpler. Strength was not proven by how much you could take. It was proven by what you chose to protect. In human space, children learned about the viral not as a rescued species, but as friends. In viral cities, monuments were built not to human weapons, but to human choices. And in quiet corners of the galaxy, where forgotten worlds still struggled, a new belief took root. If humanity noticed you, you were no longer alone. That belief, more than any fleet, reshaped the future of the galaxy. Because the day humanity decided to protect the dismissed was the day the galaxy learned a new definition of power.